The path to seven figures really isn't about how much you make. It's about what you do with what you make. So by understanding the three foundational wealth building principles, which are time, consistent contributions, and the magic of compound interest, anyone with a steady income and discipline can build wealth over time. Listen, the math does not lie. A middle-class income can build $1 million net worth, and in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how. But that's not all. There's actually a fourth factor that can supercharge your progress and accelerate your journey to financial freedom. So keep watching to learn how your 9-to-5 income can make you a 9-to-5 millionaire. But first, hi, welcome to The Choice Life. My name is Rachel. I am a financial coach helping women start their journey to financial freedom. So this video is the second video in my 9-to-5 Millionaire series, and if you're just joining us, then be sure to check out the first video in this series, and I'll link it in the description box below. So if you're new here, you may be wondering, what is a 9-to-5 millionaire? Well, simply put, a 9-to-5 millionaire is someone who has built a 7-figure net worth with their 9-to-5 income. And I firmly believe that this is not only possible, but it's actually achievable for most people because my husband and I are doing this. So that's why I'm making this series. And I want to quickly address a common rebuttal that people have for this idea of becoming a 9-to-5 millionaire. I hear a lot of people say, yeah, of course you could become a 9-to-5 millionaire if you make over 6 figures, but what about the rest of us that are making only $50,000 a year? And actually, that is a great question. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can do it. But let me first say this loud and clear. The only way that you can become a 9-to-5 millionaire is through investing. You simply cannot save your way to a 7-figure net worth, especially on a middle-class income. To make this happen, you have to put your money to work by investing in assets that grow in value over time, because your money needs to be working as hard as you work. Now, when I say investing, that could be in the stock market, in real estate, or even in businesses. But for the purpose of this series, I'll be focusing on stock market investing. And the reason for that is because stock market investing has the lowest barrier of entry between all of the other investment options, because you don't really need a lot of time for stock market investing. It's actually very passive once you purchase the stock or index fund, and you also don't need a lot of money to get started. You can buy an ETF for $1. So we'll be focusing on stock market investing. So let's look at an example. Let's say you make $50,000 a year, and while that may not seem like a high income, like I said earlier, it's not about how much you make. It's about what you do with what you make. If you could invest just 3% of that income, which comes out to about $125 a month, and you invested that from age 20 to 65, and you got about a 10% rate of return, guess what? You would have $1,078,357. So you'd be a 9-to-5 millionaire just by investing $125 a month. Some of us spend $125 eating out every month or on DoorDash, and others blow that much in 30 minutes scrolling on TikTok or with impulse Amazon shopping. And so I want you to actually go back and look at your last Amazon purchase and ask yourself, what if I would have invested that money instead? So don't tell me it's impossible to become a 9-to-5 millionaire on a middle-class income. It's all about priorities. So you need to ask yourself, what are you willing to sacrifice to get there? Because let me be clear, no one becomes a millionaire without sacrificing something along the way. And if your answer is nothing, then hey, at least you're being honest with yourself, but I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the single mom that would not allow herself or her children to become another statistic. I'm talking about the person that is sick and tired of having nothing to show for all of their hard work. I'm talking about the person that is ready for financial freedom and will do anything to get there. That's who I'm talking to. Those people can absolutely become 9-to-5 millionaires. But it starts with you shifting your mindset and realizing that in order to have uncommon results, you have to make uncommon decisions. So how do you take a $50,000 income and turn it into $1 million? Well, it takes 3 wealth building factors. And actually there's a 4th factor that can supercharge this whole process, but I'll talk about that later. The first factor is time. So investing is a long-term strategy. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. So I want you to think of investing like planting a tree. So if you put the seed in the ground, would you expect to be able to sit underneath that tree for shade in a year? Of course not. You know that it takes time. And there's actually a quote that says the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. And investing is the exact same way. You have to give it time. Let's put this into perspective. So let's say you're 20 years old and you're making $50,000 a year. So if you're able to invest just $125 a month at a 10% rate of return, you would have over $1 million by the time you're 65. But what if you're not starting at 20 years old? Like I wasn't when I started investing. Let's say you're in your 30s or 40s. Let's compare. If you start at age 35, you'll still get there, but the amount that you have to invest every month goes up. So at 35, you'll need to invest around $541 in order to reach $1 million at age 65. And if you're 45, you'd need to invest about $1,458 every month in order to reach that $1 million mark by retirement. This shows you the power of time. The longer you wait to start, the more money you'll have to invest each month to reach the same goal. And it's way easier to find an extra $125 a month than to find an extra $1,458 a month. Now, I want to stop and address something. If what I just said discouraged you seeing how much more you have to invest each month the older you are, and you start thinking, I didn't start investing when I was 20. I didn't even know nothing about investing. What's the point now? I want to encourage you that, yes, the quote says the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but the second best time is today. And listen, I understand it's frustrating. Most of us were not taught these things early on in life, so we feel like we've missed out or we're so behind. But listen, we know now, so let's make good decisions with the information that we have now. And if you are in your 30s, 40s, or 50s and you're frustrated that you didn't know these things early on in life, then now you have the responsibility to teach the next generation. So now that you know you need to be investing as early as possible, go tell your daughters, your sons, your nieces, your nephews, your cousins, whoever else you know in your life that's younger that could benefit from this information. Each one, teach one. So the second factor for turning a $50,000 income into $1 million is compound interest. Albert Einstein said, compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. Compound interest is when your money makes more money, and then that money makes even more money. Now, if this sounds too good to be true, let me show you an example. Let's say you invest $100 and it earns 10% interest every year. After year one, you would have $110 because you would have your $100 principal amount and then you would have $10, which was the interest earned. After year two, you would earn 10% not just on the $100 principal balance, but also on the $10 that you earned passively in year one. So you would end up with $121. After year three, you would again earn 10% on that $100, but you would also earn 10% on the $21 you earned passively, which would give you $133.10. And it just keeps growing. After 5 years, you would have $161.05. And then after 25 years, you would have $1,083. And all you ever contributed was $100. Compound interest is what allows your money to work harder than you for you. It's like planting your own money tree that gives you more and more fruit every year. The third wealth building factor is your contributions. Earlier, I showed you how you can turn $125 a month into $1 million over time. And that's the incredible power of compound interest, especially considering how only $67,500 of that $1 million came from your own contributions. But here's the catch. It will take 40 years to reach that goal. And personally, 40 years is a bit too long for me to wait to reach financial freedom. So how do we speed this up? Well, the answer is simple. You need to increase your contributions because the more you invest, the faster compound interest can work to grow your money. So how do you increase your contributions? Well, the first step is to get on a budget. And I'm actually going to do a totally separate video about how to budget to become a 9-to-5 millionaire later on in the series. And if you're interested in seeing that video, then type budget in the comments below. Budgeting is so important because you need cash flow in order to invest. And cash flow is the amount of money left over after you've paid all your bills and expenses. And the more cash flow you have, the more money you can invest, and the faster you can reach financial freedom. So let's look at an example of how increasing your contributions can drastically change the amount of money you'll have in retirement. And the reason I'm showing all these examples is because I don't want anybody to leave this video still doubting that they can become a 9-to-5 millionaire. So we already saw that if you invest $125 a month from age 20 to 65, you'll reach $1 million. But what if you could invest more? So let's say you got on a budget and you decided to cancel your expensive cell phone service because you heard me talking about Visible and how awesome they are, and you clicked the link in my description box and you made the switch. And now you're saving $100 a month, which you plan to add to your investments. So now instead of investing $125 a month, you're investing $225 a month, which would give you $1.9 million in retirement. That's an extra $900,000 just from increasing your investments $100 a month. Now that could allow you a more comfortable living in retirement, or that could allow you to retire years earlier. So if you want to become a 9-to-5 millionaire, you have to commit to living on a budget to make sure that every dollar that you make is working to get you closer to financial freedom. So these three factors, time, your contributions, and compound interest, all are interconnected, and they all work together to help you build your wealth. And so if you have a lot of time, say you're 20 years old, you don't need a lot of contributions because you have time to allow compound interest to work. But if you don't have a lot of time, say you're in your 40s or 50s, then you will need higher contributions to catch up. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. I am so excited you're still here to learn this next part, which I really believe is a game changer. So I've been hinting at this fourth factor that will supercharge your investments, and it actually will allow you to invest less of your money, but still reach your goal of becoming a 9-to-5 millionaire. Yes, I'm referring to your employer matching contributions. So if you have access to an employer-sponsored retirement plan at your job, like a 401k, a 403b, a 457, or a TSP, you could be sitting on a huge opportunity to grow your wealth so much faster and without any extra money from you. So here's how it works. Many employers will match your retirement contributions, meaning they will also put in what you put in up to a certain percentage of your salary. This is essentially free money. So for example, if your employer offers a 100% match on say 5% of your salary and you put in 5%, then you've doubled your investment right from the start. Like that's 100% rate of return. That's unheard of. And that money can just continue to grow and boost your retirement savings without you putting in any more money. So let me show you just how powerful this employer match can be. So let's say all you could scrape together is 5% of your $50,000 income to invest every year. And let's say you invested that over 40 years and you got a 10% rate of return. Then in retirement, you would have $1.1 million. And that's fantastic. You're a 9-to-5 millionaire. Congratulations. But let's say your employer matched your 5% and now in total you are investing 10% of your income. Then in retirement you would have $2.2 million. Like you are a 9-to-5 multimillionaire and all you ever invested was 5% of your income in your working years. The employer match is a huge advantage of having a 9-to-5 job. And can you believe that CNBC says that 4 out of 10 people don't even take advantage of their 401k match? And I know that that's true because I didn't for a very long time, which means they could be missing out on over $1 million in retirement. One of the amazing things about this fourth factor is that it happens inside of a tax advantaged account. So the 401k, 403b, 457, or TSP, they're all tax advantaged accounts, meaning that the money goes in tax-free and the money grows in the account tax-free. And you only have to pay taxes once you withdraw that money in retirement. Honestly, strategic tax optimization could be a fifth factor, but I'm going to save that for a whole nother video. So basically, the employer match is a simple yet powerful way to maximize your retirement savings without increasing your own contributions. So if you're not taking full advantage of this benefit, then stop leaving money on the table and start contributing at least up to the match today. The math behind becoming a 9-to-5 millionaire on a middle-class salary is simple. Start investing early, stay consistent, invest aggressively, and use resources like your employer contributions in order to build wealth faster. So I hope that this video has been helpful for you. And if you have any questions or if you want me to dive deeper into any of these concepts, then just let me know in the comments below. And if you missed the first video in our 9-to-5 Millionaire series, then click here to watch that video, and I'll see you there.